Hey everybody, it's Mike. I review nootropics. Choosing the best nootropics can be very confusing. It can be very overwhelming. People have to try a number of nootropics until they find something that actually works. This is your step-by-step guide. At the end of the video, I'll share with you 10 nootropics for beginners. The term nootropic was first coined by a Romanian chemist back in 1972, Dr. Corneliu Georgia, and he synthesized paracetam, and that's considered to be the grandfather of nootropics. And his strict definition of a nootropic is any substance that can enhance mental processes while at the same time protect the brain from injury. So I'm going to share with you a 5-step process so you can decide which products may be right for you. And step number 1 is to ask yourself exactly what you would like to accomplish from taking a particular nootropic or nootropic stack. For me, for example, I'm in sales and I was looking for nootropics that would help me have better discipline so I could get through some of those tedious and repetitive tasks. Furthermore, consider your lifestyle and if it is actually possible for you to stick with a consistent regimen of taking your nootropics, as there are nootropics out there that may not work straight away. You would have to be consistently taking them for a couple of weeks. If you're not able to commit to being consistent with nootropics, you're probably just going to end up wasting your money. As well, consider how much you're able to spend on nootropics. They are definitely not cheap, and there's nothing wrong with being very calculated about this. And even considering, like, if you were to buy a particular nootropic, how much money would that cost you every single day? In the past, what I've done is I've taken a list of all the nootropics, put them on Excel. I've taken the cost per day of using that nootropic, and that would help me decide, looking at the actual cost per week or cost per month of being on a particular supplement stack, is it really worth it? Of course, depending on your lifestyle, you may have to sacrifice that daily cup of coffee so you can afford nootropics, or in my case, I said to myself, I'll take my nootropics as long as I make a few extra sales calls each day. Step number 2 is to conduct research before you buy nootropics. The unfortunate reality is that there is no perfect nootropic stack. There's no best stack because different things may work on you that may work on me, for instance. So the best thing you can do is educate yourself. Thankfully, there's a lot of online resources. Reddit Nootropics is one of them. Of course, my YouTube channel, I would recommend you binge watch the whole channel. Just do that. No, I'm just joking with you. And one of the best chat applications is Discord. I'll put the link to mine in the description box below. Think of it like a big chat room, kind of like a WhatsApp group. So we're able to communicate, you're able to ask questions and educate yourself. Take your answer from step 1 and research that. So for example, in step 1, which was identify your goal, my goal personally was to improve my focus. So then what I was able to do was have a little bit more of a refined search, and I could search terms like Nootropics for Focus. And Google should give you a whole bunch of articles, and I would really encourage you to take a look at them so you can better decide which ones may be best off for you. And then the important things to pay attention to when you're first researching a specific nootropic would be the benefits and the side effects. And of course, do be mindful of the fact that if you are taking prescription medication, you have to be especially conscious of what you're taking, as there could be negative interactions between the nootropic and whatever you're experiencing. One of the biggest surprises that I had was that when I looked up reviews on particular nootropics, a lot of the time there were very conflicting reviews. Some people would say that a nootropic was very effective, and some people would say that the nootropic did do nothing at all. So be accepting of that. You have to have an open mind, and I would encourage you to take a look at this graph over here, which shows the overall pleasantness of nootropics. This is a well-known survey with almost 400 individuals, and we can see that we've got our list of nootropics, and then on the x-axis we can see how pleasant or unpleasant the feelings were. Step number 3 is to start slow, and what I mean by that is don't take all the nootropics at once when you're first getting started, or don't overconsume something because you're too impatient for the process. Guys, with nootropics, you'll never be able to know what's doing what until you try them individually. Give it some patience and have some real objective ways of going about determining whether or not it's actually helping you. Mixing different nootropics all at once makes it very difficult to identify which nootropic is benefiting you most. And I've also found that when you're going about that and being spontaneous, then you cannot commit to anything consistent. And like I mentioned in step number 1, consistency really is the key with a lot of these nootropics. What that looked like for me when I started taking nootropics just over a decade ago was I started with piracetam and centrophenoxine after doing a lot of research, and I was using that particular nootropic stack to help me with my studies. Step number 4 is to start basic and look at beginner nootropics. There's a lot of research on this on the web. I've also made a video on Nootropics for Beginners, and actually a whole playlist you may find informative. The way that I personally like categorizing them is first by stimulants. I want to know what is a stimulant and what is not, because stimulants are substances that you would not want to take before bed. They're going to make you more alert. And then another category of nootropics would be adaptogens, which are natural herbs to help you fight stress. Some very popular ones include ashwagandha, bacopa monnieri, and rhodiola rosea. And then as well, there are natural nootropic compounds, which include amino acids and mushrooms. So think L-tyrosine, L-theanine, and lion's mane. This will, to some extent, help simplify things. Like, for instance, adaptogens are nootropics to help you fight off stress. So I typically don't use them in the morning, because in the morning I wake up, I really don't have any sort of work stress or uncomfort. I would rather much take those in the afternoon. Whereas stimulants, for example, like caffeine or like theacrine, I would much rather have those when I need them, like right before exercising or maybe before making a presentation. And step number 5 would be to set realistic expectations and have objective ways of measuring your results. And what I mean by that is, unfortunately with nootropics, a lot of people try seeking the limitless pill. The limitless pill doesn't really exist. A lot of nootropics are very subtle, but over time, like over months, they will make a big difference in your whole personality and your cognition. You do want to keep in mind that generally the stronger the effects are, the stronger the side effects are. So I would much rather find you can say lesser effective nootropics that I can consistently take day after day, knowing that they're going to benefit me and make me more intelligent. Trust that setting proper expectations will really help you long term. And do measure your results. What gets measured does get managed, just like weighing yourself. So it's the same thing with nootropics. It's ideal if you're a student because you can look at your grades and reflect. Or if you're in sales like myself, you can look at your income and the number of appointments which you're attending. But if you don't have those kind of circumstances, then the best way of going about it is speak to your really close friends or your family members, and several months after using nootropics, just ask them, have you noticed any difference in my personality, any differences in me at all? Am I sharper or am I wasting my money? And try your very best, of course, to avoid any sort of big lifestyle changes while you're on a nootropic, because, for example, if you were to start the keto diet while using a new nootropic, it'll be very difficult for you to identify whether or not any changes are due to the keto diet or the nootropic. And these are the 10 nootropics for beginners, like I promised you. They are lion's mane, choline, piracetam, caffeine and L-theanine, L-tyrosine, rhodiola rosea, bacopa monnieri, ashwagandha, ginseng, and Noopept. So that's my guide to nootropics for beginners. Consider subscribing, and if you know somebody who's curious about nootropics, then they may as well benefit by you sharing this video with them. And I'll look forward to seeing you all next time.